Hi, here's my Reiki video for this week. It's a few days late actually, all down to me travelling from Egypt back to the UK. So here I am at home in the UK, first video from here. And this week I wanted to talk about the idea of negative energy, what to do about negative energy, how to protect yourself from negative energy, whether that's a person or a situation, because this is something that does come up on a fairly regular basis in Reiki classes, how to protect yourself, what to do about this negative energy situation. There are no methods in the Reiki system for protecting yourself from negative energy. The energy itself, the Reiki energy, the energy of the attunement is enough to protect you. There are no particular methods that you need to engage in, no rituals, no mantras, no prayers, no visualizations, none of this is necessary. The energy itself is sufficient to protect you from negative energies, whether that's from a particular person that you're giving a treatment to, let's say a healing session, or whether it's a negative situation that you find yourself in with people around you emanating or radiating negative energy. So your basic attunement itself is sufficient. If your attunement's been done well enough and you're able to channel Reiki sufficiently in a way that the system is designed, then this is enough. This is enough to protect you. I've never felt the need to protect myself in 22 years of working with Reiki. The occurrence, the situation just doesn't arise when you have Reiki. Reiki is its own protection. But I do want to address this whole concept of negative energy, because I think this is really important. The concept of negative energy is one that is about your perception of that energy. It's about your perception of that situation. Someone's negative can easily be someone else's positive. If it's raining one day, if you're a farmer, this might be extremely good news. This might be a very positive situation because your crops, they're dry, they haven't been watered in a while. The fact that it's raining is a very positive thing. If you're a businessman on the way to on his way to the office, well, maybe the rain's not a positive thing. So it depends entirely on your perspective. Your perspective is the thing that gives it the quality of negative or positive. It doesn't actually have within it itself the quality of negative or positive. It's all to do with your perception. I would also say that certainly in the practice of Reiki, when you're using as a healing system, unlike other methods of healing, we don't take that negative energy and just discard it. We don't take negative energy out of our client and throw it away and replace it with positive energy. I always find this a very bizarre practice, to be honest, when I hear about that in other healing modalities like pranic healing, for instance, and there's plenty of them do this. This is not the case in Reiki. In the case of Reiki, we take that negative energy or what we perceive to be negative energy, and we raise its vibration. We change the nature of that energy. So if, for instance, you have a particular illness or you are going through a particular situation, that is an opportunity for you to learn something, for you to grow in some way, for you to become more spiritually mature, if you like, by going through that process and learning whatever is that there is to be learnt from it. Now, if I come along and take that away from you, let's take that negative situation or that negative energy away, I'm going to have that, throw it in the bin, and here you go, here's a whole bunch of positive energy. You didn't get a chance to learn what you needed to learn because I just threw your lesson away. It's coming back, I'm telling you. So this is why I find it very odd when you have practices in other healing systems where that negative energy is just taken and thrown away. I find that a very bizarre thing to do. But anyway, back to Reiki. We don't do that. In the Reiki system, as I said, we're transforming that energy. We're actually, Reiki is guiding you. It's sort of holding your hand through that learning process. So it's showing you the direction to go in. So here we are in this negative situation, this negative scenario, and Reiki, in its, when we use it in that healing context, it's sort of taking that client's hand and showing them the direction that they need to go in, and then it helps them through that learning process. So it doesn't take their lesson away, it guides them and helps them through that learning process. So now the negative energy has been transformed. I want to read you something. This is actually from one of my manuals. This is from a Budo level 2 manual. Budo being the Tibetan tantric origins of much of the Reiki system. I wanted to just read this one paragraph. This is about Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava was the tantric Buddha. He was the guy responsible for really establishing Buddhism as the national sort of religion of Tibet, and he lived about 1,000 years ago. Now, so Padmasambhava. This is a little story about Padmasambhava. Maybe it's just a legend, who knows? But it sort of, in a way, sums up the entire approach of Tibetan Buddhism and healing in Tibetan Buddhism. Let me just read this to you, and I'll try and get the names, pronounce the names as well as I can. According to one story, King Trisong Detsen, the 38th king of the Yarlung dynasty and the first emperor of Tibet, invited the Nalanda University abbot Santaraksita to Tibet. Santaraksita started the building of Sami. This is the monastery. Demonical forces hindered the introduction of the Buddhist Dharma, and Padmasambhava was invited to Tibet to subdue the demonic forces. The demons were not annihilated, but were obliged to submit to the Dharma being, the teachings of the Buddha. This was in accordance with the tantric principle of not eliminating negative forces, but redirecting them to fuel the journey towards spiritual awakening. According to tradition, Padmasambhava received the emperor's wife, identified with the Dakini Yeshi Sogyal, as a consort. So there we have a story straight out of Tibetan Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism, about the way that in Tibetan healing methods, in Tibetan Buddhism, there isn't this approach of annihilating, destroying, getting rid of the negative energy. It's about embracing that situation and encouraging it and leading it into a much more positive direction, changing the vibration. So this little story about the demons weren't destroyed, their nature was changed. So they were turned into a much more positive, benevolent force. And this is why in Reiki we do the same thing. We don't annihilate negative energies. We don't destroy negative energies. We embrace them and encourage them to turn into a positive force. We help them go through that learning journey, that spiritual journey. So there is a very different approach to the whole concept of negative and positive in Reiki to other healing systems. And, as I said, one man's positive is another man's negative. These things are not fixed. There are no fixed positive and negative things in the world. It's about your perception. If you perceive a negative situation negatively as being something bad that's going to have a bad effect on you, then of course you're going to find it very difficult to get out of that situation, to turn your life around, to make something positive come out of it. But if you see that supposedly negative situation whatever it may be, actually is an opportunity to grow. If you see it as something that is presenting you with a lesson, with an opportunity, then even those negative situations are not really negative. They're positive. They're just positive in a different way. And they're challenging, but they're not negative. They're there to give you the most amazing positive opportunities if you're just willing to look for them. All negative situations in life are like this. There are no exceptions to this rule. And it's all about your perception. Change your perception and the world changes.